Write your own path with opportunities.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Extra Opportunities Extra, where I'm trying to give you just a little bit more than you might get from the newsletter with real life people. And today I have Melissa Allred, and she just came out with her book, Hannah. And I am very proud to have had a little bit of a hand in it, where she wrote the work and did all the hard part. And we met on Reedsy, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you for coming in. I almost called you Hannah, Melissa, and talking about your experience with writing Hannah and like how it was to work on Reedsy, because a lot of people aren't familiar with Reedsy. But first, introduce yourself and talk about Hannah, because it is a beautiful book, as you can see in the corner of the screen.
Thank you, Angela. I am happy to be joining you today, and thank you so much for this opportunity. It's very exciting. So I am Melissa Allred, and I am the author of Hannah, and I met Angela on Reedsy, and she helped me edit this beautiful book and get her to come to life.
Where did the idea for Hannah come?
So the idea came from the fact that I have suffered from infertility all through our 20 years of marriage. And Hannah has always inspired me from a young child. Just her story, her courage to go through that also. There's not very much written about her. She is the mother of Samuel, who is a very famous prophet. And so there's more written about him and, King David. But there's just a little blurb about her because she is his mother, and her faith to finally be able to give birth to him. And so I felt like it was time to maybe collab with Hannah, if you want to call it that. I really feel like it was a divine appointment, honestly. And so when I was writing her story, because there isn't much about her, I did have to make up a lot, but I feel like it probably could be close to accurate. It's not far-fetched at all.
Yeah. Well, I can say from firsthand reading it that no, I feel like you did a very good job with the historical, like really trying to lean into the accuracy of the story. So that's one thing that I really love about it. But it's actually a story, like a very good story, not just a historical retelling, which, like you said, there wasn't a lot there to go off of. So, you really had to put the story into it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a short story. So you called it a novella when we met. I just didn't feel like I could take it too far. It had to be short and sweet, but I think that the story is going to have the message all right there. You don't have to take it too far and make it into a long novel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You said what you needed to say, and that's one of my things. I feel like story knows what it needs to be, and we put our pride in it or whatever we're going to put into it, our expectations, what we think, but if it's meant to be a novella, let it be a novella. If it's meant to be a novel, but don't try to pad it out or subtract, to get what you want out of it, because it already exists. So, well, this is your second book. You have a first book, and then you decided to go with Reedsy on the second book, which is Hannah, and your latest. What was kind of like, how did that happen? Like, what were some of the factors for you to do that?
Well, actually, I did start with Reedsy on my first book too.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I was incorrect.
Okay. I actually had a friend who also wrote a book here in my hometown, and I asked him how he was doing it, and he said Reedsy. And so I logged in and I saw Reedsy, and I'm like, perfect for somebody like me,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't really know how to get into it, but you open it up and the format's there. You don't have to worry about the format, and you can just design your chapters and stuff, and it just flows. And if you mess up, it's got a thing on the other side where you accidentally deleted it, but it saved it. Because that's happened to me a few times where I was typing and I hit something and it was all gone, and I'm like, ah. Yeah. And then I found that button and I was like, oh.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you're referring to the Reedsy. I always call it the book layout, but I think they have a different name for it, like the Reedsy editor or something.
I think so.
Yeah, but I do love that as well because for years, and poor Melissa's already heard this hail. I've been looking for a way to teach people to self-publish, to lay something out themselves for so long, but the choices were Quark, expensive, hard to learn, or InDesign, expensive, hard to learn. And then there's a few other players like Papyrus, Author Papyrus, I think, and Vellum, I think, is Apple. But Reedsy, that layout, and now I know Draft to Digital has something very similar. But it's just so easy and wonderful. And that's the nicest ebooks I've ever seen with a click. So yeah, I became a fan of that because it's just so easy. You will get the Reedsy, like created by Reedsy or something, little link and advertise, not really an advertisement, but a credit in the very beginning of your book. I don't have a problem with that because I'm like, they did lay out the book for me, and a layout person would get a credit. So I have no problem with Reedsy having that credit. And thank you for making it free. So, but so what would you recommend to other authors coming into Reedsy? Like, what are some of the strengths, or what are even some of the, like, we can say things that bother us, or, things that you really had to struggle with as well.
I don't know that there was any struggles for me. It felt very natural when I opened it up because I haven't seen those other ones that you mentioned. So I opened it up and it was just, I was able to just do it and figure it out pretty quick. And so I would again say that, it's pretty easy to figure out, especially if you're brand new. If you know Word, I feel like Reedsy kind of fits with Word. You can edit it, your fonts and everything like that. And well, maybe not your fonts, but you have your bold and your italics, and there's different things in there. You can add links and whatnot. And like I said, you can design your chapters, and I don't know. It's very straightforward, in my opinion. I think that anybody wanting to become an author, that's where they need to start, is with Reedsy, and not even try anything else. And I actually mentioned that in a blog that I have that is connected to my Substacks. So maybe somehow we can direct people to that too. I don't know, but
those links are actually below. If you look below this recording, you will find all those links.
So yeah, if you're a new author, Reedsy is the way to go. And they make it so easy to make your cover. So if you know how to design, or even if you don't know how to design and you can have somebody else design it for you, it's easy to drop that cover in there for your book, and then however you want to publish it, you can design.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? You can move it around.
Yeah, well, and that's even for covers. You can go to Canva, which is also free, and there is paid Canva as well, but you can make a pretty darn good cover using the cover templates there for somebody. So you can throw up original art. But what I like about Canva, and not affiliated with Canva, this is not to sell Canva or Reedsy, this is just a discussion. What I like about Canva is I'm not the best person for colors and fonts, and this is why I always wear black, because it matches. So I wind up designing things that look pretty hideous and insane, but Canva matches it all, matches the fonts, and they follow those rules of, if you use one thing that's a serif, you have to use something that's not a serif, and they don't maybe put baby blue and orange together because it reminds them of orange sickles. There's other reasons to have your color combinations. So that's what I like about Canva as a book. So there really is no barriers to publishing a book.
Exactly. Yeah, I use Canva too, as well as Photoshop and the Adobe Cloud.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you're a second author, a two-time author, what would you tell beginning authors? Like, say somebody's out there listening and they're kind of like encouraged, like, oh, I could do that. Like, I don't have a ton of money to spend on layout and everything, but I could do this and still get my book published. What would you tell them? Like, what's some advice that you would say to them?
Well, I would say start. Like, just sit down, open Reedsy, and start typing. Because once you start and the creative juices start flowing, it might not be right at first. but it's like your draft, or it's like your brainstorming. Just start, and then you can come back and fix it, later. But you have to start somewhere. So that's my advice to anybody new. Don't hold yourself back because you don't have money, because you don't actually need money to print. There's going to be people that say that you have to, pay somebody to print it, but you don't. There are different places that you can go, and it's all free, and you would get all the royalties yourself. I do like Reedsy because it does help you find people like Angela, which I was so happy. And you can find those experts in there if you're stuck. But you just have to start somewhere. So don't let money hold you back, because it's not an issue at all.
That's awesome. And I agree 100%, because why wait? Like, if that is your dream, if that's what is in your heart to do, there is no reason not to just do it. And perfection, we're just going to die if we wait till we're perfect. You know what I mean? Like, it's never going to happen. So very cool. Very cool. Well, what plans do you have from here?
So I did write another one. It's called What's Next After Hannah. I have already 2 other books. So one is pretty much finished, and Angela and I had talked about how it was done, and a character popped in out of nowhere and said, I need to be added to your book. And I'm like, okay, where am I going to put you? So I am still trying to figure that part out. The book is done. It's called Widow's Ranch. And I'm hoping to have that one published by December 27th. And it's a very special day for me, December 27th, because the book is dedicated to a friend that I lost. And it's her story, or maybe not her story, but the way I would have hoped her story would have gone if she had kind of like the Name Your Own Adventure type book,
Yeah.
It's how I would have liked to see her life go. But I'm dedicating it to her and wanting to get it out on December 27th. And then my 4th book is called The Truth Chronicles. And that one is going to be the biggest undertaking of my life, because there's going to be 3 books in there. And these 2 are going to be novels. So there's a lot more words and a lot more thought, a lot more developmental stuff that Angela and I had talked about. I've learned so much from you about these, having to develop it. And my first 2 books, I was able, like Princess and Her Owl, I was able to write in 3 days, but I had already had it in me for years. I just had to I had to sit down and write it. Hannah took a little bit longer, but these 2, I have to write a little bit, and then I have to let the characters develop themselves. And then sometimes they wake me up at 4 a.m. Like I have an idea, and I'm like, it's 4 a.m. So I pull out my phone and make a little note, you go back to sleep. Yeah. And I don't know if all authors feel that way or if it's just me, but since this bug has bitten me, I feel like I have all these characters in my head. So
that's awesome. That is literally the reason why I love working with authors so much. It doesn't matter if it's my story or your story or anybody's story, or what the story is about, or any genre. Just knowing that is a new voice that exists in the world, and that there's somebody that needs to hear it.
Exactly.
So I am so happy that you entered the fray. One of us. So, and it sounds like you have a lot going on. Is there anything you're going to do differently now that you're a 2-times author? Is there anything that you are starting out doing differently? Like, outlining. I definitely need to outline, or anything like that that has changed?
I don't think I'm going to do anything different, because my style, I know everybody has a style, but my style is to sit down and start typing and see where it goes. And then, like I said, sometimes characters are like, I have an idea for you. I told them how crazy I promise you I'm not. And then, I make notes in my phone, on the notes page of my phone. So my phone is full of notes now, and hopefully, I'm not going to kill my phone anytime soon with that. But that pretty much seems to be how I work, and it's, I am very busy as a stay-at-home mom. So to be able to actually sit down and actually take time to write is impossible. I do homeschool, so I do have to do a lot of notes. Inspiration comes through, whatever, and then I write it down, and then later I'll come and sit down and actually type it up. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be interviewing you again at some point about writing with children or with a child, because that is when I started, and it's some special tricks. So everybody writing without a child or anything like that, enjoy. You're very lucky. But yeah, that's a whole nother interview. But yeah, that definitely needs to happen. When you said that, I'm like,
Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's just about it from us. Is there anything you would suggest to people who want to get on Reedsy, like pitfalls, or, what's your best practices for getting on Reedsy?
I don't think there's any downfalls or pitfalls. Mm-hmm. I think just get on and do it. Just go to reedsy.com, open it up, look at it. I mean, if it doesn't fit for you, it doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. But I don't see why it wouldn't, because it's so simple.
It is really intuitive.
And when you are busy, it's just easy to type a little bit even, and you don't even have to save it. It automatically saves it, so you're not worried about losing your stuff. So, I think just get on and do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Well, that's been our little bit of extra for the week. You can quote Melissa on this: just get out and do it. Thanks everyone for listening in on whatever platform you're on. And if you enjoyed this, please give me a like and a follow. For authors that need more submitting and less searching, get both with Authortunities, a weekly calendar of author opportunities organized by date and emoji at authortunities.substack.com. And as far as following Melissa and getting her book, Hannah, and I'm going to say your other book, which is in my e-reader right now. I've just been a little bit busy, and I've been sick, and I haven't had a chance to really get into it. But go pick up both of those books. The links are below in the description. And thank you so much for being here, Melissa. And I can't wait to see what you come up with next.
Thank you, Angela. I'm excited to show you.
I'm excited to see it.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Together, aspiring writers to exercise their rights, so that together we can make change. Write your own path with opportunities.